The story takes place in a forest in the northeastern United States, in the Green Mountain National Forest in Vermont. In this forest, there lived a local legend about the ghost girl, who appeared before those who made mistakes and did evil deeds in the forest. One day, three young men went for a walk in the forest and decided to play a joke on this legend by saying the name of the ghost girl out loud. Suddenly, they heard strange sounds and saw a shadow that was moving ahead of them. They started to escape, but suddenly one of them fell and broke his leg. Others tried to help him, but were attacked by an invisible force. Ultimately, they were found dead with horrific injuries on their bodies. The legend of the ghost girl is still alive in this forest, and many people are still afraid to visit it at night. When Alice and her friends saw the dark figure, they got scared and decided to run away. They began to move faster, but through the foliage they felt that someone or something was following them. Their hearts were beating faster when they heard a strange whispering sound. They couldn't figure out where the sound was coming from, but they felt it was getting closer and closer. Alice and her friends soon noticed that they were lost. They got lost in the dense forest, where there were no signs of life. Their phones had no signal and they couldn't find their way back to the car. They tried to navigate by sounds and smells, but to no avail. The forest seemed endless and they couldn't find a way out. After several hours of wandering, they finally came to a small pond, where they stopped to rest. But when they tried to get back on the trail, they found that things looked different. The trees and rocks were not exactly what they thought they were, and they couldn't figure out which way to go. They felt that someone or something was playing with them. Then they heard voices that until that moment had been quiet and unintelligible, but now became clear and distinct. The voices sounded inviting and menacing. Alice and her friends realized that these were forest spirits, who captured them in their tenacious paws. They tried to run, but were surrounded by dark forces that seemed invisible and impenetrable. Alice understood that they had to fight to stay alive. She found a branch and started hitting. She began to hit the grass with a branch, creating a huge noise that reverberated off the tree trunks, spreading throughout the forest. The noise got louder and louder, and Alice knew she had to keep hitting the branch to distract the forest spirits. Her friends, who were also surrounded by dark forces, understood her idea and began to do the same. They beat branches on the ground, creating sounds that reverberated throughout the forest and caused an echo that seemed to have no end. A few minutes later, Alice and her friends heard another sound, a rumbling sound that got louder and louder. They knew it was someone approaching them, but they couldn't see who it was. When the sound became so loud that they could no longer bear it, the forest spirits disappeared